In this video, we are going to learn about operators in Python programming language. So, in fact, operators they are look like some sort of tools. In any programming languages, we have a list of different kind of operators to play with the values and the data and manipulate them or assign them. In Python, we have a different group of operators to run different operations and manipulate the value and the data. The first group of the operator, they are arithmetic operators, and they are specifically designed to run mathematical operations. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modules, exponentiation and floor division are the most or the all the arithmetic operators inside the Python programming language. So in fact, you can add two value together or the value of two variable together, but you need to be careful when you are running some of those operations. The data type is important. For example, if you try to add, for example, a string with an integer variable or a value, you need to convert one type to the another and make them similar to allow the Python interpreter to run the operation for us. So I think everybody knows about the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Modulus is to return the reminding of a division, so it will return the reminder. And then exponentiation, so in fact it will try to multiply x by x y times. In fact, for example, if you say 2 exponentiation y, so it means, for example, 2 exponentiation 3, it means multiply 2 3 times by itself. It means 2 times 2 times 2. And floor division will return the floor division. In fact, it will remove the decimal part of the division. So the difference between floor division and division will return a float value, but the floor division, it will return a integer value, which is it will try to remove the decimal part of the division. We have the assignment operators. So with assignment operator, we can assign a value to a variable or run some sort of operation and assign the result to the value. So always Python interpreter calculate the left hand side of the assignment operator, and it will assign the result to the left side of the assignment. So the right side will be calculated and assigned to the left hand side of the equation. So in this case, we will put 5 or assign 5 as a value to the x variable. We have plus equal, which is equal. So those kind of assignment, they are shorthand of the assignment. Instead of writing x equal x plus 3, so you can write x plus equal 3. In fact, it's easier, and it will, especially if your variable names long, it will save your time during the typing, and it's easier to remind. So all of those assignments, they will try to use the left hand side variable and run this operation with the value in the right hand side and assign again the result to the left hand side variable. So in fact, in this case, for example, it will add 3 to the x, and it will put the result inside the x variable. or minus equal, times equal, division equal, modulus. So we have the same things for multiple different operators. Let me to explain the rest, and you will find what the meaning, for example, of those operators as well. And I will try to show you an example about the assignment variable. Comparison operators. This is a place that we can use these operators to compare two values together. So as you can see, they will help us to compare value and check for condition like equality or inequality, or greater than or smaller than. So be careful about the first one. The first one is double equal, or we call that one equal. There is a difference between this comparison operator with the last one in assignment. If you have it just single equal, it will assign the right hand side value to the left hand side variable. But if you have a double equal, it will try to compare the left hand side value with the right hand side value, and it will return a boolean. So for example, when we write down x equal y, it means is the value of x and y equal or not. If it's equal, so it will return the true. If they are not equal, it will return false. We have not equal, greater, less than, greater than or equal, and less than and equal, less than or equal. So we have another group of operators, logical operator. They are important, especially in the conditional statement. We will learn about the conditional statement in the future videos. So we have three logical operator: and, or, not. And it will return true if both sides of the statement are true. For example, x less than 5 and x less than 10. For example, if x is equal 7, so x less than 5 will return false, x less than 10 will return true. But because one of the comparison returns false, the whole result will be false. For the or, it will return true if one of the conditions is true. For example, x less than 5 or x less than 4. So if one of these conditions are true, then it will return true. And not, it will reverse the value. So somehow these kind of operator, they are working on a boolean variables. For example, not x less than 5 and x less than 10. So to learn, maybe to simplify these logical operator, let me to show you a table. So if you have a x and y, and if they can have different value, and x and y, it will be false in all the cases, and it will be true if only y and x both are true. So x and y equal true when both side of the operators, which is and, in this case, if x and y both true. For or, the x or y will be false if both of them false. So if x and y both of them false, x or y will be false. Otherwise, if one of those condition is true, it will return the true. And not, it will try to reverse the value. For example, if you have x, if x is false, not x will be true, and if x true, not x will be false. Identity operators, they are really important, especially if you want to check is if two variables refer to the same object in a memory, because when we are trying to save values, datas in in a memory of our system using the Python programming language, so it will try to assign a variable, and those variable will pointing to a place in the memory. It will return true if both variables are the same object on the memory. So for example, we will write down x is y. It means is x and y, they are the same, they are pointing to the same place on the memory or not. Is not, it will return true if both variables are not the same object. And as you know, I will try to explain that one when we reach to the object-oriented part of the course. Everything in the Python is an object, and because of that, so we refer to the variables also as an object. So if x and y pointing to different places in the memory, so the result of these operators will be true. X is not y. It means there are two different objects. Membership operators, so it will check if a value is a member of a group of value. For example, if a character or a substring is a part of a string or not, or if you have a set or list or dictionary, so somehow we can check the value and find out is this value exist in this dictionary or for example list or not. It will return true if a sequence with the specified value is present in the object, for example x in y. So we can check if a substring, for example, exists in another string or not. Not in, it will return true if this value is not exist on the, for example, a list or string or any kind of containers or those kind of data types. Bitwise operator, in fact, they are working on the individual bits of value to compare binary numbers. So in fact, if you want to use the bitwise operator, you need to know about the binary system. Definitely you need to know to convert, for example, decimal numbers to the binary system, and then you can run different and use those different operation by using this operator. So we have the AND, or, X or not, zero fill left shift, and signed right shift. So in fact, those operators, they are working on each bit. So for example, let me to give you an example. When we are declaring or creating a integer variable, for example, when we say x equal 4, so in fact Python interpreter try to assign 4 bytes to this variable in the memory, and each byte has 8 bits. So in fact this variable will be stored on 32 bits in the memory. And when we are running the bitwise operators, those operators try to compare the bits or running this operation on those bits in the memory. So bitwise AND try to set each bit to 1 if both bits are 1. If, for example, say x and y, so if that bit in the x and the y, both of them is 1, then the result will be 1. Or we'll set the bit to 1 if one of the bits in x and y is equal 1. XOR, so it will try to set each bit to 1 if the value of x and y, they are not equal. So one of them should be 0 and one of them should be 1. Not try to inverse the value of the bit. 0 feel left shift. It will try to shift the value to the left side, and it will bring 0 from the right side into the numbers. And signed right shift, it will try to shift bits to the right side, and I think the first bit in the right side will be dropped each time. So I will try to show an example in the next video. But as I mentioned, you need to know how to represent number in the binary system to use those operators. And finally, the last things that you need to know is about operator precedence. So when Python interpreter try to interpret and run your code, if you have an expression with multiple operators, so it will try to give the priority to some of those operators and run them separately. So in fact, any expression between parentheses will be run at the first. Then, for example, any explanation, so they will run those expression. Unary plus or unary minus or bitwise not will be in the third level of the priority, and so on. So you need to really consider and know about these precedence and the priority. Otherwise, the result of your expression will be not as expected that you want. So you need to consider those and check how you are writing or putting the parentheses. So if you want to, for example, give priority to a part of the expression, you need to put that in a parenthesis. In the next video, I will try to show you an example again. I'm trying to repeat myself.